Johnny Battle here with Teardrop Trailer Camping. And it's been a while since I did a video, but we're getting ready to go on a trip to Buffalo Creek in Colorado, and I wanted to show you little things, a few things I did differently with the setup, so check it out. So, I usually tow this Vistabule trailer with my Subaru Crosstrek, but at work, I had like 3 of these vans, and so I decided to buy one from my company and use this van to tow the Vistabule trailer. This van is a 2003 Honda Odyssey. It's not as beautiful as the Crosstrek, Subaru Crosstrek, but it's a V6. And I've taken it on a couple trips so far, and it tows the trailer better than the Crosstrek. Not that the Crosstrek was bad or horrible, just this one just has more power and climbs right up the hills because it's a V6. And the coolest thing is this is kind of a beater van, and so we got a cooler in here. This is a Yeti cooler, which we're using, which is great. And dun dun dun, we put our bikes in the back here. So I got my mountain bike in here. Karina has her gravel bike in here, Salsa gravel bike, and we can leave our bikes right in here. They're safe, they're protected, they're out of the elements. Hopefully no one's gonna steal them, and this has been great. We ripped out this seat so we have extra room for one of the bikes. This van also holds 7 people because there's a seat in the back that folds up. So this is a cool little van. We got our Traxxas little remote control car we're taking camping with us. It has 2 doors on each side, so I've been loving the new van. It's towing the Teardrop trailer pretty well. And like I said, this is kind of a beater van, so if it gets dusty, rock chips, I mean, who cares? And I added this Yakima awning to the top here. I've practiced with it in the house and on the driveway, but I've never test camped it, so we'll try it this weekend and see what it's like. But now we got an awning right off the van. So we're headed to Buff Creek, which is Buffalo Creek, Colorado, for kind of a mountain biking festival. There's gonna be a whole bunch of campers with mountain bikes there. And this is the second trip with the Honda Odyssey, and like I said, it pulls great. It's smooth, it tracks nice, and since it's a V6, it pulls it so much easier than the Crosstrek. Again, if I didn't have this, the Crosstrek would be fine, but this is just a little easier, goes a little faster, and plus we got all this room on the inside. So we're gonna head off and come join us this weekend, and I'll let you know how it goes. All right, guys, we arrived at Buff Creek. We're here in our spot. Behind us is our buddy Perko, and we got the Teardrop set up. As we pulled in tonight, we went ahead and cooked dinner. It was really cool. It got, again, the full galley back here, and so it was really easy to cook everything and do everything. I actually didn't cook at all. Karina did, so I think I'll have to clean the dishes. But what we're trying to do with the Teardrop, what's up, Karina?
Hi.
What we're trying to do with the Teardrop is utilize the whole inside and couch mode. Before we were just using the bed mode almost all the time, but it's really nice eating in here and putting it in couch mode, especially when the weather's not nice. And so I'll show you later what we did. We're using a sleeping bag versus bedding that we used to have, and we find it a lot easier to convert back and forth. But it's real cozy in there. I mean, you got a full-on table to eat with, and look at the view of the minivan. I mean, isn't that beautiful? No, you got a view. You got windows all around. It's awesome there. What you eating there, Karina?
Steak.
Steak and salad.
Salad, rice.
Is it pretty good?
Yeah, it's really good.
And then what are you drinking in your glass there?
Wine.
Wine. What kind of wine?
Red one.
Red
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Pretty good.
Yes.
So, the inside of the Teardrop is very useful. I recommend trying to use couch mode more often because it's pretty awesome. Like I said, we were stuck into just using it in bed mode and kind of being lazy about switching it back and forth. But with both the doors open and being able to eat in there, the beautiful window, it's just working out really good. This is our campsite here. It's Thursday night, coming into the weekend, this place, I'll show you tomorrow what it looks like. It will be full of campers, but right now it's pretty sparse. This whole group is kind of a mountain biker group, and they all mountain bike, and they all love to camp. What's that, Karina?
Just show look how big is this steak.
All right, Karina's cutting some steak here. We don't have a grill, so we cooked the steak in a pan, but it turned out pretty good, don't you think?
Yes.
Still pretty good. I mean, it's not as good as on the grill, but it's still pretty good. And Karina has a secret recipe on how to cook steak the Brazilian way. We'll have to share with you. So stay in tune. This is my buddy's Perco's van. We did a video on his van a couple videos ago. We did a walkthrough on it, so check that out. He's got a sweet van, and I'm sometimes envious of it. But here's Perco right here. Perco's a mountain biker and the man with the van.
How was the meat?
All right,
Just eat meat.
we'll be
Just eat
back.
meat.
I'll see you guys. Yeah. He's got this is his food distribution system. What's on there?
Some honey stinger,
Honey stingers.
cherry cola.
So zip tie right there for fast intake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Not my idea. Saw it from
Where'd you
someone
steal
else.
it from?
Someone at the Growler.
What's the growler?
It's a race down in Gunnison. You do it 32 miles in Harbin Rocks.
Sweet.
Well, that's the half.
I don't want a broken collarbone.
I don't blame you. It's hard enough. It's hard enough just to walk down it. Nice job, Perco. Okay, here's what it's like camping in the rain in a teardrop trailer. The clouds came in today and it's raining a little bit. So we actually cooked in the back here, and the top door actually provides some shelter from the rain. So we were able to cook just like this. And a little bit of hail, that's not a good sign. And then we put the thing into couch mode, and we're sitting in here having a little lunch that Karina cooked from the grill. Well, not from the grill, but a pan. She cooked some hamburgers. And a little foggy in here because we're all running around in the rain, but this is what it's like in a day in the life of camping in the rain in a teardrop trailer. This whole turning the bed into a food, or not a futon, but into a couch is like a game changer, because we could sit in here and eat in the rain like this, which if you had to sit on the bed, I guess you could do it, but it wouldn't be as fun. Again, the window's a little foggy, but it's really cool, and we're dry here in the rain. So the teardrop does work in the rain fairly well. Creek in Colorado. It's been such a cold summer. It's been raining and cold, and we've had tons of snow this last winter, and this weekend has been a rainy weekend, but it's been okay. As you can see here, I woke up early while everyone's sleeping and ate a cookie because I can. Now I'm cooking some bacon and eggs. But even though it's raining, the teardrop is hanging in there, doing just fine. It's a little inconvenient in the rain, I've discovered, because you just can't stand up in it, but it's not a deal breaker. It's just you gotta kind of work around it. My wife's sleeping in there this morning, so I'm out cooking. Again, I was talking about earlier, I'm now towing the teardrop with a 2003 Honda Odyssey that I picked up, just kind of a used beater van, and it pulls it great. And again, what I like about the van is I can store my bikes inside, which is super important to me. So that's great. So it works in the rain, but who likes to camp in the rain all the time, especially the cold rain? And here's the campsite this morning. This is a mountain biking group that all gets together every year, and they're all bikers because right down this way, I don't know, maybe 200 yards is the Colorado Trail. And the Colorado Trail goes from roughly Denver to Durango. It's 500 and some miles. I'm going to say 540. I don't know if I'm exactly correct, but that's it. And so this is a group of mountain bikers that get together, and everybody's sleeping this morning, but they're all spread out over there. It's a beautiful area. It really is. It's just even better when it's not raining. So, like I said before, the top door of the teardrop kind of keeps some rain out, so you can kind of come under here and protect yourself. Like I said, I'm cooking myself a little bit of bacon and eggs this morning. They look delicious here in just a few. And I don't know what we're going to do today with the rain, but we'll figure it out. But again, teardrop works great in the rain. Just gotta kind of change plans, move things up a little bit. I don't think I'm getting much solar charge today or yesterday, but still have power. Still haven't ran out of power. This is day 2 and a half roughly. So it's hanging in there pretty good. Here's a section of the Colorado Trail right outside of camp. Even though you can't bike today, I guess you could still hike. It's still pretty fun to hike on the Colorado Trail here. In this area in Buffalo Creek, it's not so bad on a rainy day because it has a lot of this like small pea gravel rock. So the trail's really not that muddy at all. It's always fun to run into hikers on this trail because a lot of them are doing the full trip. I think the 540 miles from Denver to Durango. And it's always fun to run into them as a mountain biker and hear their stories and where they come from and what they're doing and how they decided to do it and all this stuff. So every once in a while you run into those guys here in the Colorado. And for us living here, this is just a weekend jaunt or a weekend ride for us. So it's really amazing that all this is in our backyard. It's pretty cool. Just a beautiful area to call home. Getting kind of mystical on you now, aren't I? But it's pretty sweet. As you can see, it's a pretty dense forest here. It's a lot of trees in this area. This is just about a half a mile outside of camp. And prefer to be riding today, but I can't sit. I got anxiety, so I got to get out and walk around. Okay, now that we're back from a cold weekend, a cold rainy weekend up in the mountains, and the trailer's clean and back in its spot in the garage, I wanted to talk about the heater. And I get a lot of questions from people that are thinking about getting a Vistabule Teardrop trailer, and they're asking, should I get the heater? Should I get the air conditioning unit? Well, the propane bottle that's on this unit is pretty small. I'm gonna guess, and I think I'm close, but don't hold me to this. I think this is 2.5 gallon propane bottle. So it's a fairly small propane bottle. And I just wanted to show you the size of that because that runs your furnace and your stove in the back also there. Well, here's the settings for the furnace in here. The furnace has a fan setting here. Turn on the fan. and then it has the ignition setting, and then this is your temperature control here. I'm just going to shut it off so it doesn't make too much noise. And then here's the kind of the piping that. Ooh, this turns. I never knew that actually. Wow, look at that. Sweet. I'm learning something new. So that turns a little bit. It's a directional flow for your airflow. So the heat comes right out of that ducting work right there. Now, my wife is Brazilian, and she hates the cold, and she just freezes in any environment. And we ran this heater all last year. I remember when we got to Minnesota to pick up the trailer, we ran it the first couple nights, and it was freezing outside. And I've had RVs before, and so I'm really cautious about running the heater. And she was running all night, and I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to go through that whole propane bottle tonight, and we got 2 or 3 days to get home. We're going to have to fill that up, or we're going to be freezing, or something like that. That propane bottle I just showed you, lasted the entire season for us last year, and it still wasn't that empty when we filled it up. I'm going to guess maybe 8 to 14 nights of camping, somewhere around there. And I swear almost every time, unless we're in the midsummer super hot, she runs that furnace, runs that heater. So this weekend, she ran the heater during the day most of the time. She ran it during the night, and this heater just sips the propane. So this heater's made by Proplex, as you can see here, and the heater's actually mounted underneath the air conditioning unit down here below, so you can't see it, but it's a great heater. So I recommend, if you're going to get a Vistabule Teardrop trailer, that you get heat. It works well, it works fast. For me, it's a must-have. The second question I get is on the air conditioning unit here. And I was on the fence about getting that myself. I thought, boy, I would like the storage, but I'm not sure that I'm going to want the AC. But what if I camp somewhere where it's really, really, really hot, and I'm going to want that? Well, I ended up deciding to get the AC. And I haven't used it that much quite often. I've used it probably 2 or 3 times. One time I used it just to try it out and plug it in to see how it works. But I thought if I ever travel to the, the Northeast where it's humid and hot, I may want it. Now, I've tested this 2 or 3 weekends ago. We were camping down at Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado Springs, and it was warm one day. And I had this teardrop trailer in couch mode. And in couch mode, this is where the bed comes up and turns into a couch, and you can put a table up here. And in a minute, I'll show you that. And with this in couch mode, the couch kind of butts up against this, and it doesn't cool off the area very well in here. So if you're going to sit in couch mode and run the AC, it doesn't work that well. But if you're laying in bed mode and it's open like this and you run the AC, works great because all that airflow can come out. Unless I'm doing something wrong, and it has a directional kind of switch here to change where the air is going. But unless I'm doing something wrong, it just did not cool off the interior here in couch mode because that couch is butted up against this. So you may be thinking, well, does the same thing happen to the heat? No, it does not. The heat can be going in couch mode or bed mode, and this thing just heats up. I mean, again, my wife had this thing, a sauna this weekend, just the way she likes it. So that's kind of my take on the heater and the AC unit. The heater's a must. Don't leave home without it. The AC unit, hey, you could take it or you can leave it. It depends probably where you live, your age, and how sensitive you are to the heat. But here in Colorado, it's not necessary. I used to think I may want this extra area for storage, but this little trailer has so much storage. I mean, I'll give you an example here. This is my wife's side, this is my side, but I keep all my clothes and everything in here. That's not full. I keep my stuff in here. I still have more room in there. This is her side. I mean, we still got room. We're not we're not full by any means. Plus, there's some storage up front that I'll show you in just a second. So, unless you pack tons of stuff, I mean, we just really haven't used the storage here in place of this AC. So, I'm glad I have it, but it's not a must. The heat is a must, though. Okay, as you can see from the time lapse, I actually have the bed into couch mode right now. And by the way, as you watch the time lapse that just preceded this, we have now switched to a sleeping bag sleep system versus a comforter and sheets, because we can get the sleeping bag in and out of here quickly and convert it into couch mode. And when we had sheets in here, we did not use couch mode often, and couch mode is awesome. So you can see you got the table in here, and you can see what I've said earlier about the room in the back here. See, the air conditioning kind of just is snugged up right against the end of the couch there, but the heat's got a lot of room to get out right here, so that works fine. We've eaten plenty of meals in couch mode. The view is usually awesome, especially if you park in front of the cliff or some mountains or some trees. It's got this cool little table here that can move around. Now you talk about storage, so I showed you, I should say, all the storage that we had in the back here when it was in bed mode. But we have these 2 extra storage bins that are empty. My wife usually keeps her hiking boots in those. And in here, I keep a little dustpan that I've never used yet in here. So as you can see, I mean, just tons of storage in this little unit. I mean, unless you carried all kinds of stuff, you just could not fill it up. I take that back. Someone could probably fill it up, and I'm sure most people do. But also, too, I wanted to show you, not only do you have these 2 bins in front here, all under the seat here, and all the way back. You can't see it, it's so dark in there, but that's all storage. So almost the full length of the bed, there's 2 slots, one here and one there, that have underneath the couch, underneath the bed, storage. So again, tons and tons of storage in this unit here. All right, after a weekend of rainy, camping, dirty, we washed off the teardrop, which I try to do after every trip, so it's nice and clean. Look at that. Oh yeah, I had a nice wax job. Now it's super clean, ready to go. I also go ahead and plug in the 110, just so it actually can trickle charge the battery when I'm done, and we kind of clean it all up. I will go ahead and leave the fridge open. I turned it off. There's a switch down here to shut it off, and I'll just leave it cracked so it doesn't get musty or old. And that's the end. It's the end of the trip. It's the end of cleaning. It's the end of done. I'm so sad it's gone. By the way, guys, next week, if you're interested in owning a Vistabule Teardrop trailer, I got great news for you, and I got something exciting to announce. So give me a few days, maybe 3 or 5 days. I'll post a new video, but I got some exciting news coming regarding the Vistabule Teardrop trailer, in particular, this Vistabule Teardrop trailer. You guys take care. Thanks for watching again. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great adventure. See ya.